Welcome to episode 501 of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jay.
And I'm Glenn.
How you going, Glenny?
Fantastic.
It's weird dynamic because I've been talking to Jay for an hour on doing a members episode.
It's a weird dynamic. It's been a weird dynamic for 500 fucking episodes, Nathan. I don't understand why it's a surprise now. Thank you for pointing it out.
Tonight. Glenny, you've got to understand that rain, hail or shine, the listener has an expectation of the sort of... when they hear the name Glenny, a certain thing comes to mind, and they expect to hear that character. They don't want to hear this grumpy fucking cunt on a Wednesday night. What's wrong with you?
Nothing's wrong. I was just pointing out some facts.
You're not your usual Glenny self. What's going on, mate? We're all very supportive and about positive interactions for mental health.
You are very,
mate. What's
very
going
supportive.
on? Is it about Sunday?
Sorry, no.
Is it about Sunday?
What have you done? Have you realised that you've actually signed Dane Laurie and Charlie Staines to the same team?
Dane Laurie I can live with. The jury's still out on Charlie Staines.
Fucking sad how you learn to accept abuse.
Oh,
fucking hell.
500
episodes
of it.
He seems to have gotten trucked more in like the last 2 to 3 weeks than he has in his entire career that we've seen.
Good times.
It's funny, like that Zach Sini was like, as it turns out, he's not worse than Charlie Staines at all. It's just playing at the Tigers. It'll turn your Forbes Ferraris into your fucking your Zach Seenies. Shout out to Zach wherever he is these days. Good bloke. Tossed his mullet for me when I called out from the crowd.
Fuck yeah,
gentleman, an absolute gentleman and a scholar. Hey Glenny, what do you make of all this shit with everything around Bateman? With now he could miss another month due to an ongoing ankle injury.
Of course.
The Tigers have said that he's been getting acclimatised and he doesn't know the playbook yet. However,
listen, that much I'm going to have to say.
Drop it and give it to Noffa from the 65th minute onwards.
Because, like, why is someone missing a month because they don't know the playbook? When the players that are already... Let me finish. The players that are already in the team would seem to not understand the playbook either.
No, so he missed selection in the first round. And then he's not selected this week either. And so they've been saying he's getting acclimatised and doesn't know the plays. However, now there's also there's apparently an ankle injury. And that could see him sidelined until round 6. And they think that that's probably the real reason. So...
Right.
Oh,
Sheenius is not returning calls to journalists. I mean, but I wouldn't either. I mean, shout out Sheenius, but he's not returning calls to answer questions about Bateman's availability.
Much like fucking slimy, big-foreheaded fucking player agents, are they ringing Sheens in the middle of the fucking night? That's why he's not taking their calls. He's an old man. He's entitled to fucking a bit of sleep, a bit of shut-eye. Just fucking get off his back. It would not surprise me if, and you know, we talk about the Tigerest things ever. We sign Bateman with huge fanfare, and he fucking comes from the other side of the world to join the team. And look, he's got a Tiger shirt on. Good on. Next minute, medically retired without ever playing a game.
That would be pretty Tigers.
Do you remember that story going around with Bateman when he hadn't come down yet, and they were saying that the Tigers hadn't, filed for like a $42, permit or form that they had to fill out.
The latest today is that Jackson Hastings was squeezed out of the club because he and Bateman have had a bit of feud, and Bateman wouldn't play with Hastings.
Really?
Yeah, so he squeezed him out of the Super League, as well as then a year later or 2 years later down the NRL and the Tigers.
That's
twice he squeezed him out.
Interesting.
Yeah, look, while I'm not a massive fan of Bateman, and I don't have any ill will towards Jackson Hastings, but when you look at the career of Jackson Hastings and the amount of times he's lasted a year at a club and then left under circumstances that are less than savoury,
and
less than friendly, it's like that. What's that saying? Like, if everywhere you go and everyone you meet's an asshole, then perhaps maybe you're the asshole. I just feel like that dude can't stay at a club for more than a year or two.
Look, if he gets punted from Newcastle, he's a cunt.
Well, I mean, that would be like if we're going to say that he left in England because of that, then that counts as one. Then you had Manly, then you had Roosters before that, and then was it Dragons before that, and then now the Tigers. I mean, I don't think he needs to leave Newcastle to fucking make a pattern. I mean, the pattern's
but I'm saying,
here's the thing,
Newcastle getting rid of anyone.
I reckon the West Tigers one's different to them all in that all of the talk around the fucking was either, it's Brooks or Moses. Trying to bring Moses home, it's going to be Brooks, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. He saw the writing on the wall and he was like, well, you know what? I really want to play in the halves and I'm not going to do it at this club. I've done everything they've asked me to do.
They shifted him to lock at the end of the season too.
I played at 13 to accommodate them at the end of the year. I really don't want to do that. Then I might go and look elsewhere. As opposed to the club saying, you're not required. Thanks very much.
But I think it kind of was like that, though. I think he wanted to stay.
Maybe I just don't understand how anyone could actually think that. So,
yeah. See, that's there's
that internal bias.
Yeah, you got to put yourself in the place of a person who would willingly sign and want to stay with the West Tigers. Glennie, give us your perspective. Fucking Glennie is signing a $1 contract. Get him out there.
I'm unleashed.
Look, I'm full of confidence after scoring one try two training sessions ago. In red hot form on the wing.
Fuck yeah.
I don't know what to make of the Bateman thing. It's hilarious. You've just got to laugh. Otherwise, you'd curl up in a ball and cry, which I've done many times over the last
quality
years.
Drama. And the West Tigers have just not been able to escape the drama.
No. They are
for such a long time
now.
They are the drama. The entire time I've known you, Glennie.
They are the drama. That's the thing.
Well, there's one team that out-dramas them, though. And that's your second favourite team. The St. George Illawarra Dragons. So Talatau is actually coming back to play because now he had his charges in. The maximum penalty, I think, is he was facing up to 14 years jail, and I think the no fault stand down thing is it 10 years plus or more or
10
less?
Or 12.
Yeah. So now though, now they've got the charges in. Sorry, it's 11. Okay, maximum of 11 years or more for the no fault stand down policy, and but now he's looking at a maximum of 5 if he's convicted of all the charges because he's been prosecuted in a local court. And as a result, that means that the stand down no longer applies and he can go back to the side. So, fucking stop hammer time for the Dragons. Oh. I saw Benny Hunt with an article coming out saying, we're not getting a spoon this year. We're just fucking not. That was basically
okay. Well, that's that then.
Yeah. Ben Hunt said it. Take him off your list, Glennie. You're wrong. We're not getting a wooden spoon, he said. I don't care who says it. We're not getting it. He's meant you, Glennie.
Yeah,
we're not getting
it.
We're a lot better than that. I think we're a genuine finals team.
Oh,
we need to be. I genuinely think we are. You need to go. You need a lot to go your way in rugby league. If we can stay fit and with no suspensions and keep our full team out there every week, we'll be a good team. Yeah. That's hilarious. Look, we're premiership favourites. I mean, if we can get into the finals, if we can get into the top 4. Yeah. And I mean, imagine if we can get into the top 8. Wow. I mean, it's just like every sentence he went on, he just kept downgrading the expectations.
Look, if we can complete every set and force errors on every tackle, we'll win the premiership. Fuck off. Look, that's that thing. The no fault stand down is there, and there is a line in the sand, and the guy's under it now. So
yeah, no problem with it.
Be it right or wrong, I have less feelings about this because it wasn't a sexually predatory charge.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean the cunt that he tried to kill with a hammer feels any better about it, but
look, I think the no-fault stand-down should be subjected to a simple test. A reenactment of the alleged offence, put to Benny Hill music and played at 10 times speed. Is it hilarious? And I think him going chasing the dude with a hammer. I think that's funny.
True.
Under that editing scheme.
Yes.
Sexually assaulting a woman, not so much.
No.
Stand down.
Even to Benny Hill music, not funny.
Yeah. No.
There you go.
Maybe like Pony though by Genuine would be funny. I don't know. Would it? Anything else you want to talk about before we start talking about games?
No. Let's get on to the actual footy.
All right. Well, funny you mention it. There's no actual footy this week because our Manly have a bye, and I tell you, it is fucking shit having a bye. When was the last time we had the bye system in the comp? It wasn't forever ago, but it wasn't. When the fuck was it?
Hang on, who's dropped out?
Pre-Titans?
Pre-merge.
Yeah. Right.
Pre-Titans.
So,
fuck.
Pre-Titan, yeah. Now, the Panthers, again, kicking it off against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. At home again. Scott Sorensen is out with a concussion. He's replaced by Eisenhuth.
Fuck.
Really? But, hey, I've got good news too.
Now we cross live to Jay for his thoughts.
Hey, that was the bad news. Now we've got the good news. Tyrone Peachey and Jack Cogger have been omitted from the cut 24 hours out.
I was hoping you were going to say they've been included on extended bench.
Glennie, they were, but they've just been cut today.
We're
Just
close.
wait till Origin.
We're close.
You're going to get him at Origin time.
We are close.
Origin is Golden Nuts Central.
Oh, fuck.
Can you imagine?
Look, I don't hate the
Rabbitohs
idea
side.
of Cogger being in the side, but I think it's hilarious when they're like, you know what, this Mitch Kenny, Sonny Luke thing, I think we'll scrap it. You know what we're going to do? Tyrone, slip the 9 jersey on, bud.
The thing is though, and like as much like I love what you're saying, lady. Believe me, I do. But at the same time, the Panthers are in a position where they don't have to play Tyrone Peachey in their first run on side, unlike past places where he's lived, such as Titans,
The Titans, yeah.
Tigers,
yeah, no,
and so on.
Oh, you had to mention
Yeah, not Tigers. Now the Rabbitoh side. Okay, Tavita Totola is out with head injury, hamstring injury keeps Jai Arrow out. So Saluka Fafita and Cartwright join the side. How do you see it going, boys?
Where you go, Jay?
I think a lot of it depends on, how Penrith bounce back from last week and what they do in terms of their hooker rotation. Because it was pretty plain to see that Sonny's the best attacking option they have.
Yeah.
And it was a different side when he was out there.
Just for the record, this week Mitch Kenny will wear the 9 and Sonny again 14.
Which hasn't mattered. Like all of last year, Appy wore the 9.
Yeah,
but often.
Oh yeah, and I mean they can always,
Kenny
of course, they can
start
pull.
games
Yeah,
and they can do all sorts of shit. So,
yeah.
I really do hope that this is a quick fix and that Ivan isn't. Well, I'm just going to persist with Kenny, because he's more experienced, and it may just be that he's trying to replicate what he did last year, where he'd have Kenny start games and bring Appy on against a tired defence. Yeah. And maybe, maybe think Sonny just needs more time under his belt in first grade to take that full responsibility. Who knows? Like, it's a long season, and I think Ivan understands that this season's different than last. Last season, by round 3, it was so obvious that they were a cut above the other teams, and that they could just go full throttle down and make their way through the season. They're going to have to earn them this year. And so going up against Souths is going to be a defensive marathon, especially now since all of a sudden Souths know how to score on both sides of the field. It used to be you just had to worry about their left side. Now you've got everyone on the right-hand side that understands they can score tries. Ilias will be looking for another big game. Like, he had a standout game last week. But if he can do it
especially against Cleary.
the incumbent Australian and New South Wales 7, that would be a big feather in his cap, so I'm sure he'll be up for it. Damien Cook will be there looking to either assert his dominance or really put one over on this new kid coming in that everyone thinks is a future superstar. So this team has enough old heads in it that they should be able to get in and really put the work in for this week. But then again, South have got 2 years worth of fucking disappointment to use as motivation.
I mean, I think Damien Cook will feel fairly comfortable coming in against Mitch Kenny,
100% he will.
Considering Billy Walters FC fucking handled him.
That's it. Look, just based on the attacking power out there, I'm going to tip South for this game.
Get fucked.
It's very.
Fucked.
I mean, Panthers are from the betting perspective. Panthers are very heavy favourites.
Hang on, who's not in? Latrell's playing though, isn't he? He wasn't.
Yeah, Latrell's playing. Yeah. It's just it's Totola and Jai Arrow, and like Jai Arrow, I feel like he can almost be a net gain not being in the side in terms of potential dumb errors.
You're a chance of winning the penalty count if he's not there.
Yeah. Oh, it's fucking tough because South were pretty impressive last week.
South were very good.
I don't know who to tip. Hey, look, I'm going to say that the Panthers are going to bounce back.
Okay.
In a tight one. How about that?
There you go.
Just to see, just because at this stage it's only round 2, so the pattern hasn't developed yet.
The Panthers over the last 2 seasons, certainly the premiership years, but the year where they got beaten in the grand final as well, they weren't far off that standard. I feel like those sides, and we're not a million miles with this side in 2023, those champion sides would look at last week, make a few adjustments, and bounce back and put one of those performances where it's like, fuck me dead, they were never really troubled.
Yeah. And there's also a thing with South too, though. Like the shared grand final, and just some shared spicy encounters.
Yeah,
I'm certain that's going to happen again.
To see where that part of Penrith is this season, coming off back-to-back premierships. I'm going to tip Penrith because I think they'll look at that game last week and say, "Fuck, we're at home. It was the first game of the season. We really should have made a statement there." And I think this might be the game where they make the statement,
especially after losing the WCC at home as well.
Yeah. So I'm going to tip Penrith, but I am interested to see, how they play in this game and what it means, as far as the side.
I think there's more for them to work out than they understood there is.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, and Glenn, it was like you alluded to last week, I think we've got, in terms of our systems, most of our outside backs you can just sort of plug and replace.
Mm.
I think we've got enough second rowers, and, Isaiah is obviously a very special player, but enough coming through that you can plug in and replace. But it's the difference in dummy half.
Mm.
It's the difference in quality of service, and it's the difference in what Appy does. Even when he gets out and just takes those 3 or 4 steps out of dummy half that puts the defence in 2 minds and buys more time before they can advance.
But it's also like Appy, just like the way that he constructs a set and decides he's going to pick on this guy for 2 tackles. Like, I don't know if Mitch Kenny's that kind of forward thinker.
No, I don't think so either.
I haven't seen evidence of it.
As I said, that's not who I hope wins. I want Penrith to win with all my fucking heart. But South just looked too polished last week.
Right, okay, so the second game, the pub slot game, is the Eels versus the Sharks. And this one's at home for Parramatta. Really, not much of a difference you got Sean Russell coming in on the wing for Isaac Lume. The Sharkies, Wade Graham has been is he out for, he did get suspended for 4 weeks. Yeah. So Connor Tracy replaces him on the bench, and who else we got here? Royce Hunt's back in to replace Jack Williams, who had a head injury, and I feel like Jack Williams has had a head injury his whole career.
Jack Williams is
some of the shit he does. So the Eels heavily favoured to bounce back. I mean, the Sharks weren't terrible. I mean, there's a lot of errors last week, but I mean they were right in that game. They stuck with South the whole game.
Yep.
So what do you reckon, Glennie?
I think missing Nico is a big out for the Sharks. I'm gonna have to. I hate to say it, but I'm gonna have to tip Para.
Yeah,
I think
so,
they'll be steeled from that performance last week, and I don't think, as you say, I don't think Cronulla were horrible, but I just think you just can't have a player of that caliber out of a side like that, and then beat Para. So, and especially Para being at home. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and look, the Eels were pretty good in that game. You know, pretty good to very good. The only time in the game that was worrying and they weren't great was when it came down to that crunch.
Yeah.
You know, get a field goal, work for a field goal. You know, get ahead at the very end. You know, and that's when the Storm started building, and the experience of that side controlling those situations. The Eels have never demonstrated that they have the ability to do that, and that's the thing that's holding them back from breaking the drought.
Yeah.
So. I don't think the Sharks will keep it as close, though, to even be a problem at the end.
The only asterisk for me is if Parramatta somehow do manage to squeeze out a victory without Hines, I think that is a massive, and that'll boost their confidence no end. So
you mean the Sharkies getting a victory without Hines?
Yeah, sorry. Yep.
Yeah. Mm. Right. I'm thinking Parramatta, though.
Yeah.
Not a huge margin, though, but I think they'll, maybe a try.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving along, we have the Broncos taking on the Cowboys at Suncorp Stadium. The late game on Friday.
Reece Walsh in. It's big in for Brisbane.
Cobbo was spectacular, though.
Can't tell if serious.
Yeah, I mean, Cobbo was fantastic.
Cobbo was amazing
last week.
Yeah.
And I dare say... It may go to show that he was the better option.
Yeah, interesting.
We may see.
Take.
I'm not a massive fan of it. I mean, like he has some great moments, particularly in attack, but in defence, I feel like he's been exposed time and time again.
Positioning wise, or
but even like physically as well.
Yeah,
like he's not that fullback that's going to stop a guy scoring a try, even if he does have a good shot on him.
I don't think he's that guy.
No,
I'd agree with that much. I think Adam Reynolds.
It's like Callum Ponga with sexier eyes.
I think Adam Reynolds will be massive for Reece Walsh's game. As long as Reynolds, obviously, if he can stay healthy, because we all know that is.
Say what? Fucking ad is just incessant.
Look, I'm thinking the Cowboys, they'll be up for this one, and big occasion, the Derby, Suncorp. I'm going to tip the Cowboys. I just think overall the Cowboys are a better side right now.
And Adam Reynolds is a better half than Chad, as well.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
But I think the Cowboys do have that ability to be explosive and throw some tries on. What they can't do, though, is that shit they tossed up last week in the second half.
No.
And let it get to a shootout, because the Broncos definitely seem more composed this year when in that sort of crunch situation.
I think this will be another one of those, those games that they talk about when they talk about Broncos and Cowboys. Like one of those epic sort of clashes. But I expect the Cowboys will squeeze a win out.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, on the basis of hashtag fuck the Broncos, I'm going to go Cowboys too. Broncos feel like, are favourites at home though, but which is strange. I mean, it's amazing what a win over Penrith does.
Yeah.
To the stocks of your side,
Yeah, that's it.
Whether it turns out to be meaningful or not, who are Penrith now? We'll find out.
Yeah.
If they continue to be Mitch Kenny FC, I'll tell you, they'll be down there fucking duking it out with the Tigers.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Fuck. Come on.
Tell you what.
Roost.
You know what? I've gone back to back. I'd be happy to be playing the Tigers in the last game of the season to avoid the spoon.
Yeah, but then what if it becomes Appy revenge game on Mitch Kenny FC?
Appy can't play a whole game of football by himself. Like
And
there
if
are
he
other cunts on the
could,
field
I think
with
he
him.
would win.
Well, this is the
but he
And
can't.
they're all wearing Tigers jerseys.
Appy is a powerful totem, though. I mean, there are exes. Appy has exes that thrive, and he has exes that don't. Which one is Penrith?
How is
we'll find out.
In a game between the Cowboys and the Broncos, we're discussing something involving the Tigers?
Because that's what we do.
I also think that it's hilarious that in any other sport in the world, if a team buys in the number one player in their position and brings them into the club, they're actually like considered a boost and the club's taken seriously. But not the West Tigers.
Well, no, because they fucking sit him on the bench for how long?
26 minutes.
Love
That's
it.
how long?
Yeah, felt more like 60.
You're telling me.
Yeah, okay, so we move on to Saturday. In the first game, Sydney Roosters take on the Warriors. The Roosters looking a little bit threadbare in their stocks at the moment. Still heavily favoured against the Warriors. Now, Joey Manu returns in the centres for the Roosters, so that takes Hutchinson back to the bench, and Corey Allen out of the 17, and Corey Allen incidentally never took the field during that game on the weekend either. Matt Lodge is out with face injury as the German tourism board celebrates, and the Fletcher Baker comes in for him. No letters to speak of. The Warriors, okay, their team is unchanged from last week. This one's at
Roosters got two butchers
Park.
and a baker in their forward pack. I don't know how that. It's like the old times before fucking professionalism.
Yeah, the thing about the Roosters is like all three of those motherfuckers are usually interchange players.
Yeah.
And when they're the guys that are starting,
Yeah.
and then you just add them to Lindsay Collins and Victor Radley, who is like, make no mistake, he's a fucking soft shell crab. I mean, that guy's had. In fact, did you see that today? I saw
Nowitzki.
Yeah, Nowitzki fucking. He's got the attention of Nowitzki, which is
the second greatest Nowitzki in history.
Which is crazy. But I mean, Chris Nowitzki is an American doctor who is super involved in concussions and CTE and head injury, generally focusing on players in American sports. But he actually tweeted today and said NRL player Victor Radley has had 4 concussions in 2 years, including one in August that caused convulsions and one in the first game this season. He now may return after 6 days. This could be tour all over again. Please give the man at least 2 weeks to let his brain recover.
Yeah.
So, the Roosters say nay. He's in 13. But then you look, so we talk about the Butchers and the Bakers actually starting and then being probably interchange players, A bench of Jake Turpin, Drew Hutchison, Terrell May.
Jesus.
What are they fucking doing? Well, the cupboard's bare. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing what they can.
Yeah. Can I just point out, this is why no one trusts fucking coaches to assess people, Ricky. The fact that someone with a fucking history of intense concussion can be knocked the fuck out and okay the next week.
And this is like club doctors too, can't be trusted,
exactly.
not even the coaches.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this is also coming from a coach who has impressed us in the past with the care he's taken towards the recovery and easing back into the game of Luke Keary, the issues Boyd Cordner had before him, and
Luke retired him early.
Yeah. But here, maybe it's just because Victor Radley's a shit cunt. I mean, he's definitely not as likable as fucking Boyd, eh?
Actually, you remember when Robbo went off on him? Like after he got all of those like send-offs and all of that shit. And Robbo was like, look, here's the thing. We're happy to work with him, and as long as we know the parameters, we'll work with him to change his tackling technique. And then he came out a week later. He was like, fuck them, I'm not changing my tackling technique. I've tackled like that since I was 8.
Yeah. Well, you might be paraphrasing, but yeah, that was the vibe for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so, well, yeah, there we go. The Warriors unchanged. I mean, look, the Warriors had the great first up win. Can they do it across the ditch?
You
again?
made the comment earlier about who are Penrith this year, and I'm not sure we're convinced who the Roosters are. Especially you look at last week's performance, and then you look at this side. They're ripe for the picking if the Warriors can be up for the contest away from home.
The forwards of the Roosters worry me, and their depth and their bench worry me. Their back line's fantastic, and we know what they can do. But it's also just there's that sort of attitude as well. Like you saw situations in that game against the Dolphins where the players would circle up and sort of huddle. They'd celebrate and huddle up and suck Sam Walker into their group and sort of trap him in there. And none of the Roosters guys, like there was no one like a Jared Warrior-Hargraves there to start throwing cunts away and stick up for his halfback and stuff like that. None of these guys seem to be built that way. So, I mean, you would think that Brandon Smith might, but
or Lindsay Collins, like he's
you'd think, but no one did. Hey,
I'm going to tip the Warriors. I reckon they could do
fucking
it.
boil over, mate. If you're going to tip them, put some money there too because they're $4.40 at this point.
Yeah, I just think that there's the opportunity there to get on top in the forwards, and while Sean Johnson is not the same player he was several years ago, with time and space, he can be fucking very dangerous. So,
yeah, look, I think there's just too much class in that Roosters starting outfit, and there were too many times last week against a far lesser opponent when the Warriors just made too many silly mistakes on top of each other.
And they won that game just by virtue of just desperation defence from Adam Pompey and Charles Nickel-Klokstad and stuff. So
that's it. No, Roosters.
Yeah, I think the Roosters are a safe bet. But Glennie, if you fucking put money, if you go on the Warriors, put some money on because you'll be a nice little earner for you. The Dolphins take on the Raiders, and this one's happening at KO Stadium at Redcliffe. And I didn't realise, I haven't been looking at their draw. I probably would have gone down to this one, but a sellout, and that's just that's how monumental, a first up win for a new franchise, especially like a one in front of a good crowd and against a team that's was supposed to smash them easily. So they sold out this one. Raiders, fairly heavy favourites though.
Yeah,
the Dolphins side, as per. Oh no, sorry, we got Mason Teague replaces Ray Stone on the bench. The Canberra Raiders side, Albert Hopewade replaces Rapana, who's suspended. Still no Papali'i in the side. Glennie, what you got?
I see Milford's been named in the extended bench, as has Cody Nikorima. I don't hate the idea of sticking with Katoa for the time being. And I understand Milford's a big name signing for a new club, but I think that combination between Katoa and O'Sullivan, giving it time to work and maybe bringing Milford off the bench isn't a horrible idea. But again, we spoke about
if they never got to the point where they moved, if they never got to the point where they used Milford even, that's cool too.
Yeah,
honestly, I don't think they've got their young spine.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it roll.
Again, it's there may be questions that need to be answered from the Dolphins in regards to, playing games away from home. But to start the season with a 30,000 plus crowd at Suncorp for their first ever game, and then to back it up with the first game at Redcliffe, they showed last week that there was a bit of early jitters from them, but they settled into the contest and really took it to the Roosters. And I feel like they could be bring the same energy with this first game at Redcliffe, and I don't think the Raiders are up to stopping that.
Well, the thing about the Raiders though, if they're going to continue to start slowly, they may find themselves in the position where the Dolphins are up on the scoreboard and their tails are up because they're still operating a lot on this raw emotion as well as being the new guys that people expect to get pumped. So
exactly,
there is a time where that juice will stop working.
That's true.
and it won't be a substitute for depth and talent of the squad. But at this early stage in the season, I mean, Canberra didn't show me enough. Like they had an absolutely fucking horrifying preseason, and the game against the Cowboys was close. But also, I mean, you know, they went down 18-0 in that game.
Yeah.
So,
look, the Raiders,
and I'm happy for the Dolphins to beat every fucking team except for Manly. So, fucking
yeah, I was not 100% sold on the Raiders, and you know, another loss is another fuck you to their fan base, and the Raiders.
I was going to say you're on team fuck the Raiders anyway, so you're Dolphins, right?
The Raiders fans are just fucking St George fans that went south looking for opportunity and found none.
That went south looking for milk.
Yeah, and found none. That's why they're calcium deficient. But yeah, fuck the Raiders. Go the Dolphins.
Yep. Okay, moving on to Saturday night, the Melbourne Storms take on the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs down there at the Korean Housewife. Munster is out with that finger injury, so Wishart comes in to replace him, and Aaron Penne to the bench. The doggy side, unchanged from the outfit that had such a great first hit out, getting fucking destroyed by the Seas Eagles. Now, I mean, do the doggies get pumped worse?
Yes.
Than 31-6? I mean, I feel the Storm are at least, I mean, conservatively a 14 to 16 point better team, minimum, than the Doggies, right?
Yeah. No, Munster probably, you know, takes some elements away from their attack, but they're still Hughes. You know, Meaney's proven to be pretty safe at the back. And Harry Grant to create. I don't know where the points come from the Bulldogs, and I don't know that they hold up to the consistent and relentless pressure that the Storm build through the middle.
Yeah, as much money as the Bulldogs have gone and spent, they essentially have, you know, a half who, even as the son of a premiership-winning coach, couldn't get a first-grade gig. As a 5'8", they've got a centre who can kick the ball very high. They've got an ex-rep winger and kick out. Like, when you look at it,
who
they're
retired
not a
last
great
week
side.
at about the 5th minute.
Yeah, it's so... fucking Melbourne to put on a fucking cricket score.
Even though the Melbourne Storm side, when you look at the lineup, is like...
There's more plotters in Melbourne jerseys this year.
It is nothing
than
like
ever before.
you expect. Yep.
But at least their forwards aren't going to be rolled by anybody between Nelson and Welch and those guys.
Yep.
Especially with Harry working around the ruck.
Yeah.
That'll keep.
And can I just say, Nick Meaney, very fucking solid there at the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very solid. Talk about players leaving systems and getting better and worse and whatever. Nick Meaney has benefited immensely from going to a system where they coach their players.
I'll tell you. Do you know what would fuck me off? If I had some sort of like awesome collectible of Nick Meaney, like a fucking autograph card that I fucking sold. If, you know, that I dare say shunted off to the highest bidder. that would depress me immensely.
Yeah.
So
the West Tigers take on the Newcastle Knights. Sunday, 4 p.m. game again.
Fucking hell, Glennie, could you have a softer draw to the beginning of the season?
At Leichhardt again.
We could have had a bye.
Taking on the Newcastle Knights. Now, Appy Coruscant has been named in the 9. Offhand Gower has been named to start. TWiL and Simpkin dropped to the bench. Glennie's mate Icy Pole is out, replaced on the bench by Alex Seyfarth. Yeah, sorry.
Is he hurt?
Sorry, mate. I'm just reporting. Not from what I'm looking at. There's no injury designation on there.
Pole, not Icy Pole, but why the fuck is he out? Why was I not made aware of this? Ugh.
You lost pretty badly on the weekend. Perhaps there's casualties. That's all I'm saying.
Him?
I'm not fucking genius. I am not mentally able to calculate
You cannot get your head
the
that far up
hypotenuse
your own
of what
arse.
puts fucking the fucking square root of what puts fucking Corey Patterson on the wing, Glenny. I mean, it does not make sense.
Look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter.
Newcastle Knights, hang on a second. Gay guy's in. So TWiL drops out of the 17. Jack Johns joins the bench to replace Adam Elliott. And Jack Johns, of course, the younger sibling of the greatest fucking Johns in the history of the family. Cooper.
Daniel.
Now. Fucking Cooper Johns has got an eating disorder too. He's fucking eating up he's eating up the entire fucking NRL. Now,
I never thought I would see the day where you are fucking trumpeting for Seabold and Cooper fucking Johns, but here we are. What a time to be alive.
Glenny, I am the eternal optimist. You put me in a situation, and I'm going to make the best of it. And if the situation turns out to go favourably as it has so far, I'm just going to make a fucking German myself, picking out the things that people hate the most and make them my fucking favourites.
This fucking Siebes Eagles things that he can eat a dick.
See, the Siebes Eagles. I mean, do we put a hashtag in front of it and just basically guarantee it winning the hashtag of the year? Wouldn't that fuck you off? Back to why there's a game here between the West Tigers and Newcastle Knights. Why are we talking about Manly?
Because that's what you do.
Newcastle by 50.
Fuck off, cunt. We're
By
trying
50,
to have
you
a
say?
serious conversation about rugby league here, because that's what people want to hear. And then you want to trot that bullshit out. Fucking
So
do
the
better.
Knights trying to get this new spine working. When one of the players in the spine keeps going off with HIAs. The Tigers trying to get an entire new system in place.
Look, the West Tigers
Clemmer
are
revenge game.
revolutionising the game of rugby league, and that takes time. I think it's probably only going to take a week. The passes will stick, everything will click into gear. It'll be a glorious Sunday afternoon at Leichhardt Oval where we never lose. Please, poor old Lachlan Miller at the back. He's going to have a fucking afternoon. He's going to
David Clemmer revenge game. Does it overhaul a Jacko Hastings revenge game?
Yeah, it
Yes.
does.
Because both of them
It
aren't
does.
happy with their former clubs.
No.
Is Jacko Hastings is he going to want to have fucking 95 touches of the ball?
He's
if Clemmer's
going
fucking
to want to
pounding
have
every time?
195 touches of the ball, and most of those will come because Ponga will be off the field.
I'll tell you what, though. Glennie, how crucial to your victory in this game do you think it is that Clemmer head high somebody with 10 minutes left when you're down by 20?
Look, I don't think it's crucial. I think it'll happen. I don't know if it's. I think that there's certain things in life that are given.
He kept his powder dry last week, though.
He did, but it's only a matter of time.
Okay, it's a ticking time bomb, you're saying.
He really is. Always has been. Always will be. I don't know if he's going.
Glennie,
I think
for you, because I like
Let's
you,
hope.
I'm tipping the West Tigers.
Let's hope it's on Kurt Mann, the worst player in the NRL.
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
That's like such a weird hill to die on when you got
I know.
players like Morgan Boyle and fucking Corey Waddell and Kyle Flanagan and Viliami Kickow. There's so many to choose from.
The worst player in the NRL by the length of the straight.
Look at his. Yeah. I mean, like I'm only basing it on a sample size of 1 week.
That's it.
Last
And
week, but still.
let's just be specific here. He said worst player. Because if it was player who is just the worst, then everyone would just vote DCE.
Well, everyone would vote like O'Shea Ole, really.
No.
Ooh,
That's who I consider to be the worst. And he,
wow. And he plays for your club.
yeah.
Look, as I said, revolutionising the sport takes a week. Sheenius at the helm. This new system for the Tigers will be in full effect, and the Knights won't know what to do with themselves. They couldn't beat us last year, and we were fucking rubbish. This year, we've changed the game.
Last year you were rubbish with Jacko Hastings, though. This year they're rubbish with Jacko Hastings.
Yeah, so, please. Tigers by a fucking million.
Battle of the bins at Leichhardt Oval. The Dragons take on the Gold Coast Titans.
Ooh.
Who we got?
First sighting of the Dragons.
Honestly, Sunday is a.
I got to tell you.
Well, what was the jingle like? All the the song like Friday night's a great night for football. Like, Sunday night's a fucking a day to skip completely.
Sundays are for cunts.
Sunday is a great time to be in a fucking coma.
The only thing that could make this worse was if these two teams were playing in a little round robin tournament with including the Raiders. Like biggest packs of cunt fan bases in the game.
Well, these four teams on the Sunday. I mean, it's like fucking Sunday's the new Monday night.
Listen, just leave the Tigers out of it.
They are the reigning wooden spooners.
When are the Tigers playing? Are the Tigers playing Sunday?
We just spoke about
it. Yeah.
Okay, let's.
Tigers revolutionising the game by coming 17th.
We should do a
for the
game
first
companion
time
for the Tigers.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. It's Killer's birthday this weekend, and we got a couple of things. You guys can do it. You guys can feel free though.
All right.
I think I've got a birthday.
No, it's not as much fun where I feel half responsible for Glennie's mental health.
What? So you like it when you're 33% responsible for it?
No, you're responsible for it. And I can just fucking take
that's
the whole time.
If you're involved, he is absolved of all responsibility, and he goes back to his normal, true form.
Game companions are fun though, so we'll look ahead at the draw and see what's coming up.
How old's Killer going to be?
14.
Oh, he's ready to do a game companion. Give him a headset.
I think we're going to be at Grandma's house though, unfortunately.
Bugger.
Now, the Dragons take on the Titans down there at Jubilee. Jack Bird is inside. He'll play lock. Sullivan at 5'8". Mbai hooker and Lids on the bench. Toby Couchman will debut from the bench / couch. and Talatau Amon is in 21, so he's ready to fucking drop the hammer. Now,
Toby Benchman.
Yeah. I'll start from the bench, man. Now the Titans
started from the bench. Now we're here.
Still on the bench.
In the Dragons lineup. Should have stayed on the bench. The Titans have named Kieran Foran at 6. Apparently, he was training
the house down
separately, from the main group. But apparently, there's a chance here that he could make a miracle recovery. I can see they got Sexy Boy there in 22, who I presume will drop in if he can't play. Dragons. This is the first chance we get to see them ply their wares after the narrow fucking win over the bye. I believe it was a Ben Hunt field goal in the last minute of Golden Point extra time.
On their way to playing finals football.
On their way to definitely not getting the spoon.
Yeah. I disagree with Ben Hunt's sentiment. I still maintain the Dragons will get the spoon, and the Titans are probably going to run second last. Last week will prove to be the highlight of their entire season. And I think they'll look back even after this game and say, what a difference a week in rugby league makes. I'm going to tip the Dragons.
Wow, you're so sore about last week that you're going to tip the Dragons, going against every fibre of your being.
Yeah.
You're absolutely selling yourself out.
It's like trying to pick your favourite form of cancer, but there was some Titans fans that had some very derogatory things to say about me after last week's match. And you know what? There was a couple of Dragons.
You bring it on yourself.
Oh, well, that's subjective. I don't know about that. Titans won't be able to back up defeating the team that's revolutionising rugby league. They'll be spent. Dragons 1-12.
I'm going to say I'm going to give two scenarios. If Foran does play and is somehow remarkably fit to play, I think Titans will win easily. 10 to 14 point winners. If Foran's not playing,
big call.
Then because he did kind of kickstart most of what was good in that game last week, which is exactly why they brought him in. The Dragons starting Moses Mumbai at hooker, though.
It-
That seems like a strange move, doesn't it?
Have you seen him try and catch the ball? That's why he's not playing fullback.
You go.
I just don't understand how that Titans forward pack is not going out there and fucking rolling absolutely everybody it comes across. And defenders of the Titans will be like, if you look at the stats, yeah, look at the stats, but how they're not just out there turning tides of games, how they're not just putting fucking hits on people that make them think pass before run. There's enough of it there, and I don't know how to get it out of them. But I'm pissed off at how much potential they're wasting. You absolute shit cunts, hurry up. But I don't know. I think the Titans were in control of so much of that game last week and then let the Tigers back in. Surely they're going to have a better showing this week, so I'm tipping the Titans.
Yep. Same.
Cowards.
All right, so speaking of tipping, I just want to go. We'll give a shout out to the top 10 in the tipping competition. As I said last week, I think six was a decent effort. I mean, because that's 100% without some severe upsets like the Dolphins getting up. So leading currently, clubhouse leaders Mickus, a couple of people we know too. Oh mate, Risby, Paul Mack, Arkham's inmate in 4th, DeBellins under the bed in 5th. Ben SFC, Don Paulo, Get on side, Boydo, and Sad Bronco in last place. Shout out to our mate Action Bailey, who is tied for the top as well, and myself tied on top, and Jimmy, our wonderful host at the grand final day,
Legend
at Bar Cleveland, fucking legend. He is also tied on top, and as it turns out, 28 people out of the total. I don't know how many people we got in here. 268. So 28 people out of the 268 ended up with 6 last week. That being the high score though. So, are you in this tipping, Glennie?
No, sir. I've given up on tipping.
You just broadcast them out there on a podcast though.
Yeah, tipping comps. Can't do it.
Somebody go back last week, log Glennie's tips. And every week, henceforth, just keep a little tally so we know how Glennie's tracking, all right? He's too cowardly to fucking go to ESPN footy tips and click a button 8 fucking times a week.
There you go.
Make it seem
What a gauntlet.
So that's it. 501.
5-0.
Anything to add before we wrap? Anything we do? Anything you want to add to before we wrap things up, Glennie? You look like you got a lot to say there.
Go the Tigers. Fuck the Titans. Fuck the Dragons.
Are the Titans
fuck the
like you?
Raiders.
Is there any team that you're not fucking?
No, just those 3 at the moment.
Jesus Christ.
Are the Titans a new thing? Were they just added last week because of the result?
No, look, I've always.
Well, you can imagine what he thinks of Preston Campbell.
Oh, I mean, his wife is a lapsed member of the Titans.
Love Preston Campbell. Absolute champion of the game.
Just for everyone else that's just listening, when Glennie said all that, he was putting inverted commas, like doing the air quotes symbol around love and champion.
I think you hear it in his tone too.
Yeah.
Oh. You guys are great.
So he did the air quotes again there. All right, that's it for episode 501. Hit up the website thisweekinleague.com/links for links to everything, to all of the social media communities, the Patreon, and more. And yeah, that's it. I got nothing to add.
Me either.
Manly, hopefully we get a lot of close games, so Manly is still on top at the end of this round. Other than that, might put myself into a coma for the weekend.
There you go.
The end.
I'll fucking jumpstart your heart Monday morning.
we fucking psalmsing it up, baby. Oh.
Oh, there's a deep cut from the membisode.
Fucking Sam's gobbling fucking Seeb's nuts.
No,
that's what's going to be happening. All right.
You can't be a Psalms goblin
See you
because
guys.
you're over the age of 20.
We're done. We're done.
All right. And I'll talk to you fellas next week.
That's it. Let's go.
Like that. See ya.
Later.